What are you drinking over there?
Special formula.
You're freshening it up with a little bit of what is that? Prosecco in there?
Yes.
Prosecco and Diet Pepsi.
Diet Pepsi.
All right. Sounds like a plan. I guess so. Our first story comes to us from James. Actually, it comes from James's brother. James's brother has a story about working for Knott's Berry Farm this time of year, isn't it? It's like Knott's Scary Farm. Don't they rebrand it for Halloween?
Oh, do they?
I think they do.
Oh,
yeah.
how cute is that?
It's Knott's Berry, but then I think around Halloween.
Okay.
Not now because it's COVID. You can't do anything now. Anyway.
Now it's all scary.
So his brother had a story while he was working there in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And James here says his brother was so shook about this story, like it was for like days.
Yeah,
right?
days later.
So he says this. This is James's brother's story. James's brother doesn't have a name. So,
James's brother.
James's brother. So he says this: working late night with a manager in the kitchen, early in my cooking days. I think it was my second weekend there. He showed me how to cut veggies for the soup. Then he left to go on break. I'd worked other places, so he felt okay to leave me be. It's a big place, so I was under the impression we were alone, but not too surprised when an older woman put her hand on my shoulder and said, no smaller cubes of potatoes. I said, okay, and started cutting them smaller. Oh, so she meant, no, make them smaller cubes of potatoes.
Right, yes.
Right? So he said, okay. He started cutting them smaller. His manager came back a while later and reprimanded him for cutting the potatoes too small. And I said, no. He immediately throws the old lady under the bus. He said, that old lady said smaller potatoes. The manager looked confused and said, dude, we're here alone. A few days later, walking through the front of the restaurant, I saw the portraits of the founders, Mr. and Mrs. Knott. She was the woman, and she was famous for her dinners. I was so freaked out, I asked work, and everyone was like, oh yeah, that's why no one works nights. Don't go in the walk-in freezer. I don't know if they were messing with me, but I started at Disneyland ASAP, which is like...
He was like, get me out of here. Who didn't warn him to not work nights? Like, if that's a thing.
Yeah. If if all the things I would come back and haunt people about, make the potatoes smaller.
Well, she was concerned about the food. She was probably...
About the size of potato cubes. Listen, old B.
Whoa.
Yeah, leave me alone.
Really?
You're gone.
It's
now,
her place, though.
It's James's brother's time to make these potato cubes bigger?
No. He's not the star of this show.
Yeah, dude.
No. She's like, you need to do it right. This is my reputation.
This isn't some hole in the wall. This is Knott's Berry Farm. And the damn potatoes need to be
smaller.
Tiny.
So it probably was stressing her out that the manager always makes them bigger.
Yeah. It's a constant battle between the manager and the ghost of the owner.
Right. On the potatoes.
Exclusively about the potatoes. All right, our next story comes to us from Daryl, and he says this: I used to work at Raising Cane's. You know what Raising Cane's is?
I was assuming it's like a restaurant.
It's a restaurant that apparently they're making one here, or they're building one here.
Oh, that's cool.
But I don't know where it's local, like where it's from. I'm pulling it up on the internet right here. Their thing, it said chicken fingers, so apparently they do chicken products.
Nice.
Pretty good. So
I like chicken.
We'll have to DoorDash them at some point. There we go. Raising Cane's. They're now hiring chicken enthusiasts.
All right.
So anyways, Daryl was...
You can get a job.
Daryl was a chicken enthusiast. I have a job.
Oh.
Daryl was a chicken enthusiast back in his early 20s at Raising Cane's. Daryl here would work the night shift from 5 p.m. and get off anywhere between 1 and 3 a.m. He says, at this time, I lived with two roommates. We had just moved into our new place, and we were hanging out in the backyard. It was after work, so like really late, around 3 a.m. So he went inside to grab some herbal medicine. We'll leave that one alone. As I was in my bedroom, looking through my dresser that is facing the door, the hallway is shaped like a backwards L, and at the end of the short part of the hallway was my roommate's bedroom. As I was looking in my dresser drawers for my medicine, out of the left corner of my eye, I saw a bluish light coming from my roommate's room, gliding towards me. When I looked up directly at it, it had vanished. Of course, I told my roommates, but they just kind of laughed it off. We'll pause there. So this kind of relates to Leon's story last week. Right. Maybe Daryl was already suffering some side effects from this herbal medicine. Or maybe not. We'll continue.
But in the comments, Leon
says, my parents heard it too.
Yeah.
Shout out to Leon. He's like, no. My parents heard it.
I wasn't on acid.
Yeah, he wasn't on acid at the time.
So.
But, Anyways, he says a few weeks go by. Everything's cool. Then there's another night where I get off pretty late around 3 a.m. One of my roommates is up watching TV in the living room, so I sit up and watch with him. The way we are facing, we can see the doorway to the hallway and the kitchen. So we're watching TV, and the same bluish light was there, but this time it looked like a pair of legs walking into the kitchen. I looked at my roommate, and he looked at me. We both saw it. Another few weeks after that go by, and we're all hanging out in the living room again. There were about 8 of us hanging out that day. These roommates multiply. Then all of a sudden, we hear what sounds like someone getting cocked coming from my roommate's room. Oh, a gun getting cocked. That could have gone a couple different ways. It doesn't say gun there. A gun getting
shotgun.
Cocked from a shotgun.
Yeah.
The one from my roommate's room, the one that I saw the figure coming from in the first story. His door's locked and shut. All 8 of us heard it, and we were stunned in silence. We finally got curious and did some digging around in the attic. Turns out an old man lived there for a long time and was a war veteran. Hope you enjoyed the story. Thanks, Stephen Lacey. That old bastard was going into your kitchen, getting cocked.
Right, guns?
His guns. Or maybe another, I don't know, maybe he's trying to get in your herbal medicine too.
There's a lot going on in there.
War veteran, maybe he needs it for something. Everybody, yeah.
So that's cool.
He saw like a bluish pair of legs.
Yeah.
Going into the kitchen trying to get a sandwich, but he only has legs.
So how's he going to eat? I don't get it.
How's he going to make the sandwich? He's got to get
Doesn't make sense.
One of your multiplying 8 roommates to get him a sandwich,
Right.
Hey, soldier, let me get this pastrami. Anyways, let's see here. Next up, we've got one from Martin O'Dwyer. So Martin's from Ireland.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm going to do my best not to do a really bad Irish
don't do that.
accent
That's
for
not
this. I'm not going to do that. But then after Martin's story, I found something kind of similar to his, also from Ireland. I don't know how close it is or not to Martin, but I really like these stories here. So Martin says this. He says, "Hey guys, really enjoyed your first episode. So when I heard you wanted listeners to send in their stories, I thought I'd send you some of the freakier things that happened to me when I was growing up. Story number 1. One week, sometime in the summer of 2011, around the time when I was 18, my mom went on the holidays with her sisters to Bulgaria, leaving me with the house to myself for a week. For reference, the house is a bungalow with an attic converted into 2 bedrooms, my room and a guest room. I hadn't been sleeping well for the past year or so, as both my dad and stepdad had passed away unexpectedly within 3 months of each other the previous winter, and I was dealing with a lot of grief and depression at the time. That's really sad.
That's super sad.
That is very sad.
Yeah.
He says, I can't remember exactly what point in the week this happened, but I think it may have been either the Thursday or Friday. I spent most of the night playing video games with friends before spacing out watching YouTube until I passed out sometime in the early hours of the morning. I was sleeping on my side facing away from the wall and towards my door when I was suddenly woken by a very aggressive, low growl in my ear. I get this quite a bit from Gypsy, from our dog.
Right.
She will usually get up on the bed and just sort of stare at me. Sometimes
so you'd be used to it if it happened to you.
I would just think that it was my dog. Yeah, but obviously Martin here doesn't have a dog. And
that is rude.
Yeah, that is rude, exactly. He says, my eyes shot open, and what I saw in front of me was a shadowy humanoid shape, crouched down on its haunches, locking eyes with me. It had no facial features, but I could feel its eyes on me and a terrible feeling of dread and fear. I tried to scream and move, but I was frozen in place, curled into a ball on my side, and the only sound I could make was a quiet whimper. Yeah,
Ooh, that would be like...
That would be, yeah. I wouldn't even...
freaked
this
out.
This is where he messed up. He opened his eyes.
You would just keep them shut?
I would have kept them shut. I would have crawled up in a ball and like put the cover over me. No, I don't think I would have cried. I just would have been like, okay, I'm going to shell myself. I'm going to cocoon myself.
It has no face. I would not want to. That would be
I know.
The freakiest thing ever.
This would be terrible.
It would be terrible.
So he says, after a few moments, I was able to move and leapt out of my bed, screamed and hit the lights. Nothing was there in my room, and I checked the whole house to make sure nobody had broken in. There was no trace of anyone other than me. In later years, I learned what sleep paralysis was and attributed to that. But you're also not supposed to be able to get sleep paralysis while sleeping on your side, which he was.
Oh, man.
I wonder if sleep paralysis also generates like human dogs with no faces.
That growl at you.
That growl at you in the middle of the night. He has another story here. He says this one might be a little long, but it's worth it, so please bear with me on this. Okay. He says, so the second time I saw a shadow person in my room was not as friendly as the first. Back up. That first one was not friendly at all.
I know. I'm like, that was friendly?
He growled at you, and he projected a sense of palpable fear.
Right.
So this
and
must be...
you could not scream. You were frozen.
This one might have a knife, or maybe he's got a shotgun that he borrowed from the old war vet.
Super scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he says, this happened in the winter of the same year as the previous story, so I was still having issues sleeping, quite often staying up until 6 or 7 a.m. before falling asleep and getting up for work at 12. That night I was really struggling to get to sleep, and I was trying everything I could think of. I rearranged my pillows into a weird pillow chair thing and tried to sleep on my back instead, and that seemed to work eventually. People get very creative with pillows.
Trying to get some sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I cuddle a pillow. I have one under my head, and then I cuddle one.
I know, your cuddle pillow.
And Bama asked me, and he was like, why do you cuddle a pillow at night? I was like, it just makes me feel better.
Because you get scared. You get scared at night.
Because I read these ghost stories. He said, at some stage while sleeping, I felt something grab my right hand and press it hard to the mattress. I woke up and felt my left hand also getting grabbed and pressed hard down to the mattress as well. It felt like there were a pair of hands holding down each of my arms, pinning me to my bed. I tried to scream and my lips wouldn't move. I could only try to shout for help from behind clenched teeth. Again, it only came out as a whimper. I felt a tidal wave of dread and terror hit me, and at the foot of my bed, looking right at me, is a humanoid shape made entirely of darkness, standing around 6 feet tall. I freaked out even more and just tried to ride it out, thinking it was a nightmare or something after what happened the last time I saw something like this. It felt like it lasted for hours. At one point, I got so scared that I got desperate, and even as someone who doesn't really believe in God, I was so scared I started to pray. In my head, I started running through the Our Father over and over as fast as I can. After I managed a couple of Our Fathers, my panicked praying got interrupted by a deep voice in my head that said, "That won't help you now." Oh, God, that's terrifying.
Oh, my gosh, that's like...
What the hell?
I'd be so freaked out.
Yeah.
I would start crying.
He says, my blood ran cold and I tried to scream again. He says, I'm not sure how long the whole episode lasted, but shortly after hearing the voice, everything stopped and I was able to move again. I stayed up the rest of the night and went to work the following day white as a sheet. I didn't tell my mom or my friends the exact details of what happened because I didn't want them to think I was crazy, and have since rationalized it as sleep paralysis for my own peace of mind. I have not slept on my back since.
Ugh. That freaks me out.
Yeah,
like I want to know like about his place, like where, like does he have any information on like the backstory of his house? Like why is it like...
So I know out here, and this is something that I wanted to look into for maybe a video of ours, because Summer thinks that our house is haunted.
Right.
I have never experienced any haunted things in this house.
Right. I've been with Summer where there's like weird noises, and then we're like, I don't know where that came from. And then her TV did weird stuff, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like it's just Summer. Was it
like the weird noise? Was it the rat? Because we had a rat in here that I caught once.
No. It was like banging, but we didn't know where it was coming from. It was so weird.
Banging?
Yeah.
It's probably our neighbor. It's probably Ryan. He's always doing stuff over there.
Oh, my God.
It probably was.
I know. Maybe, but then the TV was acting weird.
He's got like a whole crazy like inventions lab in his garage, I think.
TV was like, I don't know. It was
I saw the TV thing. Y'all brought me in there to see that.
No, and then there was a thing where she had it set and it was like weird voice. It was so weird. And she's like, I didn't even do that. I didn't even set it up like that.
That I feel is shady information right there.
Why do you poo-poo it? Like I literally was there. I'm telling you.
That stuff can be easily explained by.
Well, then, okay, go on to what you were gonna say.
What was I gonna say?
I don't know. You were going somewhere like.
Oh no! So we looked up. That's what I was gonna do. For Martin here as well. Maybe they have something similar in Ireland, where you can look up to see if anybody's died in your house before. It only costs like $15.
Are we gonna do that?
We did it already.
Oh, you did it?
No, we all did it. Somebody did it. I thought you did it or Monica did it. Somebody did it.
Oh, okay.
Nobody's died in this house.
Oh.
That we know of.
I don't know.
Maybe the people here before us were murderers. Probably not.
It could be the land as well. You don't know.
This little plot of land of ours.
She did like the Ouija board. So that's what happened.
Summer did?
Yeah. That's what she thinks.
Did she do it on her own?
With her friends.
Oh.
In her room.
Here?
Yeah.
Which one of them moved it? Which one of them was the one that moved it? And why? And does her name rhyme with Bummer?
Steven, stop.
I know. Look, we are going to do a Ouija board in this house sometime soon. We're going to videotape it.
Okay. For
our channel.
Okay.
For this podcast. And we're going to see
We're going to get the reel to reel.
But I will know if somebody's moving that. Yeah, we'll get the reel to reel. Exactly. I will know if somebody is moving that thing.
Will you?
Maybe it'll be me. I'm going to write F-U.
Steven!
All right, so I looked up ghost stories from Ireland.
Okay.
Because I really like that Martin is across the pond, as they say. And it was a really, really cool story that he gave. Lots of ups and downs and emotions. So, but also somebody mentioned was that his particular sighting, his apparition, didn't have a face.
Right.
So this comes from IrelandBeforeYouDie.com.
Okay.
Which sounds more sinister than it is. It's just visit Ireland before you die. Not.
Oh.
It's not. It's like a travel site.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like literally ghost stories from Ireland.
This particular article is ghost stories from Ireland.
Okay.
It's pretty brief. And there's I tried to look at the actual credits to see if I could credit somebody for having written this. And there's 6 or 7 different people that are writers for their site. And this particular article did not list who it specifically was.
Okay.
So this is called, this is from, like I said, IrelandBeforeYouDie.com. The Faceless Lady of Belleville Castle in Cork.
Oh, wow.
Now I'd like Martin to let us know how far he is away from Cork.
Okay.
Because maybe this faceless lady
is the same.
Has a really deep voice and is like, that's not going to help you now, Martin.
Okay.
So Belleville Castle sits prominently on the shore of Great Island in Cork Harbor. It is said that in the 17th century, Margaret Hodnett lived there. Mirrors were a status symbol with the wealthy at that time, and Margaret was known for her love of these to remind her of her renowned beauty. Kind of reminds me of my wife. She had an on and off again relationship with a local lord called Clon Rockenby.
I love that name.
Hello, Clon.
Man. If I had a son.
Clon.
Yes.
Come here, Clon.
I love it. Buell.
Ooh, they don't know that. They don't know our last name. Ooh, you just broke kayfabe.
Oh man.
So that first part is interesting. The mirrors. You never think about that kind of stuff. The stuff that we literally have everywhere. Not in here, but
mirrors.
They're status symbols because they're probably hard to make.
Right.
What do? You get a bunch of sand. And you light it on fire or something. I don't know how to make it.
But I don't know why you're talking about mirrors yet.
Because they said mirrors were a status symbol with the wealthy at the time.
I wasn't listening.
What? We're gonna pop quiz this
I just saw. I didn't catch that part. Sorry.
Mirrors were a status symbol for the wealthy, and she loved these things to remind her of her beauty. That's why I made the wife cry.
I think that threw me off And then we got to his name. Like, all right. Yeah, sorry.
Just zoning out.
I was zoning out in my own podcast.
All right, here we go. So
I didn't know that. Okay, let's go back. So that's cool. I didn't know that mirrors were a status symbol of the wealthy.
Nice to see you caught up.
I thought it was just like we take it for granted.
Yeah, we do. That's what literally the words that came out of my mouth. We take mirrors for granted, but back then, because like I don't even know how do you make a mirror.
I don't know.
I got to circle right back around to my joke. Jeez, so she had an on again, off again. Do you remember this dude's name? Lord Klon Rockenby.
Yeah.
He would not be into you because you do not pay attention. Klon would be upset with you.
I paid attention to him.
The Lady Lacey. She has an attention span shorter than the whatever. Anyways. So Klon asked for her hand in marriage many times, but every time Margaret refused.
I should have refused.
She said, no. Hey.
Go ahead. Whatever you were going to say.
Who else can hook you up with a ghost podcast?
I don't know, but this is going all downhill.
It is. This podcast is probably my last one. Okay. Eventually, Rockenby decided that the humiliation was enough and raised a small army to go to the castle to take her by force.
He's super rude.
Yeah, Klon's kind of a dick. He thought the Hodnitz, used to a luxurious life, would not withstand a siege. Well, yeah. I mean, they're just chilling with their mirrors. They're in a castle.
Right.
So they surprised him by holding out for a full year before surrendering. Now, back in those days, a year is like equivalent to a week here.
Right.
Because like nobody was doing anything back then.
Exactly. Like it took years to get anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm going to go to my friend's house.
Yeah, okay. See you in 3 years.
Right.
So when he finally entered the Castle Rockenby, he was shocked to see the state of Margaret, skeletal and starved, a shadow of her former self, her beauty gone. Out of rage, Rockenby smashed her favorite mirror to pieces. As he did so, one of the Hodnitz killed him with a sword.
Okay, so we don't know why, though, that she was skeletal and starved. Not yet. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, we might find out here in a moment. I haven't really read ahead.
Oh.
I just knew that she's faceless at the end.
Oh, wow.
Or her ghost is. So, yeah, she's all messed up, skeletal and starved, shadow of her former self. Her beauty's gone. Out of rage, he smashes one of her favorite mirrors. I kind of figure at that point, maybe she wasn't using it. So it's like, okay, I didn't even like that anymore because, like, look at me, I'm a mess.
But yeah, anyways, but, like, that's not going to win her favor.
I think he's beyond that.
Oh, he's like burning it down right now.
He's burning it down. And instead of seeing her and being like, oh, man, what happened to you? Now I don't even want you. I've wasted a whole year.
And I'm going to break your favorite mirror.
He raged, yeah.
Wow.
So after these events, Margaret descended into insanity. She said she was sought out mirrors constantly to check if her beauty had returned, and it never did. She died in old age at the castle. Her troubled ghost appears as a lady in white, sometimes with a veiled face, and sometimes with no face at all. Those who have seen her say she looks at a spot on the wall, then rubs it as if looking at her reflection. Apparently, one stone on the castle's wall has been rubbed smooth over the years, perhaps in the spot where her mirror used to hang. Belleville has largely been unoccupied since the 19th century, but is currently being renovated.
Ooh, I wonder if, like, through the renovations, like, are we going to have some updated stories?
Maybe. I don't know when this was written.
Oh.
I don't know who wrote it. We could do some research briefly on Belleville Castle and see what we come across here, given that we are a podcast and we can do this. Let's see here. Belleville Castle, TripAdvisor. It's got 4.5 stars out of 5 on TripAdvisor, so they do advise you go there.
Okay.
It says, oh wait, hold on. The €5 million rescue of Cork Harbour's Belleville Castle is, this is only from 2019, so this seems like it's pretty recent.
Okay.
So they recently put €5 million into it. Let's see here. Yeah, I accept cookies, whatever. So it says, this is from irishexaminer.com. by Tommy Barker. Says 5 million euros have been spent on this castle rescue by Gary and Ann Wilson. So Gary Wilson's business background is in successful company turnarounds.
All right.
He needed not only the ability to see through to an end product, but he also needed funds and lots of them. So I don't know, it's probably ended up being like I'm just getting like a little rainbow wheel right now. So thank you, Irish Examiner, for halting our podcast.
For breaking my computer.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
I feel like everybody's like, you should have researched this before you started recording.
No. We do enough.
We do.
We take the stories in. We clean them up a little bit. We plunk them in a document.
We should say the bare minimal, a ghost podcast. Minimalist ghost podcast.
The Clown Time Ghost Podcast. Ghost stories by two people who can barely read. All right. Well, yeah. Hey, there's a cliffhanger for you. Hopefully, who is this? Gary and Ann Wilson don't come across any faceless women there when they're reconstructing Belleville Castle. Thanks to everybody for sending in your stories. You can send your stories in also to thatsnotscarypod at gmail.com. We enjoy last week we had, what was the name? Johnny Compton?
Yes.
Which I don't know if that's his real name, man. That's such a cool name.
That's
that
such a cool name.
So he sent in an audio file. So if you want to send in an audio file, instead of having us go through and massively edit your stories,
right?
Then you can do that.
And you can have your voice be heard.
Yeah, exactly. So tell your friends about the show. Leave us a rating, a review, a comment on YouTube. Like it. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. And till next time, we'll talk to you later. Oh, look, I think it's starting to work. What does it say? Oh, look, there they are. Nothing about ghosts.
Nothing about ghosts.
I want to see if there's, let's see here, ghost. No.
He broke my computer.
He doesn't know. They're getting into this. They don't know.
Like, I feel like we are being trolled by the ghost.
Yeah, it could be the faceless lady is in here.
I don't even want you to know about it. You're just making fun of me.
Yeah,
and now you can't know.
I know, right? Yeah. This is all about restoration. I don't want to know about that. I want to know if Gary's seen it. He go, oh, look at that. That looks nice, doesn't it?
It looks beautiful.
We'll have to go there if we ever visit Ireland.
I don't see any mirrors.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. This is That's Not Scary. We'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye.